Well, we've made it over a year without having any issues in our M6. This is a 2007 M6 with the V10 in it. But coming home from work yesterday, when I started it up after I got out of work, it had a shake to it. So I figured out we got a coil going bad or something. So it was shaking pretty good. Well, by the time I got up on the road, started accelerating, well, it cut my engine in half, dropped my RPMs down, did all that. You know, you think the world's coming to the end on this engine when something goes wrong. But most likely it's just something with a coil. So we're gonna pull the coil off and see, but I gotta get on the computer and see which one it is. And then we can see if we gotta go down on this bank and pull that cover off, the black cover off. Or if we got to do this side over here, taking that cover off, which means we got to get the coolant bottle out of the way, and we got to take the air boxes off of either one we do. So let's fire up the car and get the computer going and see which one we got faulting, because INPA will tell us which one is faulting. All we got to do is just log in. All right, so let's see if we can read our code. So we're gonna read our function F4 and then function F1 to tell us what codes it has brought up. All right, so it says we have a 2B45, which is cylinder 4 Misfire. And so it's done it quite a few times here. And then we also have a 2B38, which is a cylinder 4 Misfire. And I believe that means that it shut off the fuel tube. So it's not even letting that cylinder hit. And then this 2B57 tells you that the motor went into limp mode, and same for that. So that's the only codes we have. So looks like it is cylinder 4. If we see it right there in German, we have cylinder 4. Alright, so right now everybody's green because the car's not running. So let me fire it up and let's see if cylinder 4 right there looks any crazier than any of the other ones. That's going to tell us whether or not that's our problem. Alright, so cylinder 4 is not even sparking anymore. It says the duration of spark is good, but the quality is not even hitting anymore. And as you can see on my dash, my little motor's lit up. Service engine soon. And I got the increased emissions. So it's not happy at all. It's not able to fire that. So I'm guessing it's probably the coil. Fortunately, the rest of them seem to be working. So we're going to change out the coil on cylinder 4, clear all these faults, and see what it does. Alright, so here's what the coil looks like. Sits on top of the spark plug. And it's pretty simple. All you got to do is when you pry this open, it actually pushes the electrical connector off of it. So it's pretty simple. It sits down in there like that, some orientation. But it sits under some covers. You learn after a while that if you're gonna run a BMW, you need to put you some coil packs in the trunk, because these coil packs do go bad. And I usually just change them out one by one until I start getting multiples faulting, and then I'll just change all the rest of them out. So we're gonna start with this one and see if maybe it was just kind of a dud and didn't last as long as the other ones. If I start seeing these faults, then I'll just change them all out. They're not too expensive. They're like 50 or 60 bucks for the Delphis. So we'll get that done. So we'll get set up over here. Like I say, it's on cylinder 4, so I just got to count 4 cylinders back from the front. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fortunately, I don't have to do that one in the back on this journey because it's a little tougher. But to get to that one back there, or the one on the other side, you need to remove your air boxes for your cabin air, and then you can take all of this loose and take all of that off, and you don't have to take off your windshield wipers or anything. All that stuff just comes loose real easy. You'll see the plastic nuts underneath those air boxes. All that slides off, gets out of your way, and makes it a lot easier to get to the back there. Same thing you'd have to do if you were taking the intakes, the plenums off. Start out, we got to take the air box off. So you can take your choice, take this one off, or you can take the other one off, or you can take them both off, doesn't matter. Just got to get these loose. So we'll loosen them out, we'll see which one goes first, because they're super simple to tighten back up. So we'll get these off, and then your mass airflow, if you look, you have to squeeze it on the sides right here. And so you just squeeze it in and wiggle, 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 and it pulls right off there. So that's how you get your mass airflow off. And we got that for this pipe right here. And you just squeeze the top and bottom of the pipe. You'll see it when I take it off. You squeeze right there, and it opens it up, and then the pipe comes loose. So we're still doing simple stuff anybody can do. And the next part to get the top of the box off is these little latches. And so you can do them with your finger, but they're pretty tough. So it's a lot easier to do with a screwdriver. So we'll get us a flathead screwdriver. Set it in there and pop. And same for this one. Pop. And that one doesn't have one, and there's one hiding up under the mass airflow. Pop. And then there's one right down in there. That we gotta get to. Pop. And it should be everybody. So you got your mass airflow off, you got your breather pipe off. Disconnected both of these just to see which one's gonna go. So I'll just use my fingers, and I'm just gonna grab a hold of them up there and just kind of tug on it without damaging it. Try to get it loosened up a little bit. And then we're just gonna let the airbox come out. So there's the airbox. You'll see I don't have a filter inside of mine. I took that out. Seems to help it breathe. Yeah, looks like we may have to get the bottom air box out of the way to get that cover. I was hoping it was going to slip straight up out of there, but it looks like the air box bottom's in the way. But that's still not too bad. There's only a couple bolts holding it on there. And right down there you can see one. Normally there's one right here. Mine's broken off. It's got like a rubber thing on it, and the rubber is broken, so I think it'll be all right. And then there's a Torx right there. It takes like a Torx bit right here from your Torx set. So we'll set up and take those off and see if we can get this airbox out. So we'll start with the 10mm, which I dropped. There we go. Hit the head on my light. And then we'll get this one. So let's take the air filter out because it's kind of in the way. The air filter comes out, gives you just enough room to get in there and break that Torx loose. Alrighty. What we got to do, since this is loose, we should be able to just grab the box, give it a little jiggle, get your little clamps not to catch on anything, because they love to catch on every single thing coming out of there. And there we go. There our box is out. Alright, so maybe now we got enough room that we can get that plastic thing out. In case you wonder what I hit my head on, that's that shop light right there. Because see, BMW, although they just think that there's two hood latches for safety purposes, it's actually because they know you're going to be working on this thing all the time. So makes a great spot to hang a 4-foot shop light. So then you got your nice hangers right there. Works out good. If it wasn't for the bugs. So now we're ready to see if we can slide this out, because now the hoses are a little more flexible. But let me set the camera down and see if I can't slide that right out of there. So we're aiming for this one. Like I say, the back part of it you pull forward to get it out. The front part you pull upward. So we're closer. Now we got it. So there we go. So that wasn't too bad. So we got it off. You can see it's got a little pop in on the front and the back. And so once you pop them up, they'll come right out of there. So here's our coils. So we got one coil. That's cylinder 1, cylinder 2, cylinder 3, cylinder 4. So this right here is my culprit. And as you can see, if you look on the other coil, right here, this is the coil that's going in it. So its little catch is sitting in this orientation down there, although the little window is not white. And then you can see from this, you just have to pop that up and it'll push it loose. So all we got to do is get a hold to, we'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, get a hold of number 4 there and pull up like that. And then when you push it, you see it pushes the electrical connector off. And so we'll set the camera down, give it a tug, and see if we can't get that out. Looks like we're gonna need us some leverage. We're gonna slip it through that little cover hole right there. And we're gonna see if maybe that'll give us enough lift to pull it out of there. So that's how you do it. Grab that thing, put an extension through its little hole. Bam. So all I did is just stuck that right through there and gave me enough leverage I could pull out on it. So inspecting it, at least it's not oily. So that means we're in pretty good shape as far as oil goes. I could pull the plug while I'm at it and see. So let me just pull the plug out and see what the plug looks like. Alright, so we got our plug socket. It's got a little rubber thing in it, so it makes it a lot easier to extract it. So we're just gonna slip it down in there, get it on that plug, and then we're gonna break it loose. Have a look, see at this plug. Just to make sure the plug looks all right. Alright, so we got it loose enough where I'll be able to spin it out there. So at least we were dry. If there's oil down in that socket when you pull that coilpack out, then you probably got a leaking valve cover gasket, which happens too on the 650. I've changed the gaskets twice on it over the years. Alright, fell back down in there. So the little rubber thing didn't quite hold it. Almost. Well, if you can't get it and it keeps falling out like that, what you can do is just get a piece of electrical tape, cut a little piece off, and just put it just on one side. All you want to do is just give a little bit of tension, and then we're going to slip it back down in there. See if we can catch on that plug. So there you go. So that little electrical tape does the trick. It'll help you get a plug that doesn't want to come out. So if we look at our plug, well, looks kind of cruddy. I don't know if it's, so I'm gonna go ahead and swap this plug out, because the other one, I mean, it's probably still gonna run, but we'll go ahead and swap it out while we're here and just give it a new plug and a new coil. And then I'll just buy another plug and I'll change it out. So this is where the tape comes in handy again. It'll hold that plug in there for you, so you can get that plug started back down in that hole without dropping it. And then you just lower it back down in there. I always start these by hand. Hey, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put some anti-seize on there. As hot as this motor gets, it probably needs some anti-seize on the threads. So this is what anti-seize looks like. In case you've never used it, you can buy them at the auto parts store up at the counter. And they are extremely important for engines that get hot, or if you really want to go a long time between plug changes. What you want to do is put some anti-seize on the threads right toward the end, and then just take your finger and just wipe it down into the thread. Bam. and what that's going to do is walk back up. So you want to kind of get it low. You don't want to get it on the end of the plug, but you want to get it pretty low. So with the anti-seize on there, it's going to be easier to get these plugs out someday when I don't want to take these plugs out again. So now we just start it back in by hand. Get it down there until you feel it tighten up. That way you know for sure that thing's threaded, because the last thing you want to do is cross thread a spark plug in the engine block. That pretty much. So I cranked it many threads. So I'm pretty confident that I did not cross thread that thing, because it went many, and then it stopped. So most spark plugs you get have right here at the bottom, they have a crush washer. And so you'll feel it. When that thing bottoms out, you'll know you've crushed that washer down. And so you got to tighten it up until you feel that thing snug up. Don't be knuckle dragging on it, because that crush washer keeps it from spinning back out. So you're going to see I'm just going to put down on it. And it was pretty tight to get off, but I want to make sure I get it seated and actually bottomed. So I felt it tighten up right there. So that ought to be good. So, there, now we got our spark plug changed, and we got our new coil pack. So all it does is just go back in the hole, and you want to put it in there as straight as you can, because you got to hit the top of that spark plug. And so you just feel around until you feel it kind of slide down on the plug, and then it has to go down until it seats. So it's pretty easy to get them out, kind of hard to get them off. Alright, so it's seated. Now what we got to do is open the connector up all the way, put that one in there, and as you'll see, as you push the electrical connector in, it closes the little lid. And so then you just close the little lid down and make sure it's captured. And there you go. That's how you change a coil. So we'll put the cover back on it and the air box back in it, and then we'll fire it up and see if it cleared our cups. Then we just got to get it to hop down. But you don't really want to. There we go. So that's back on, and we put the air box bottom back in. We switch the camera position. What you got to do is line up down in here. Let me move this out of the way. This little thing that was connected right there. Right there, see it has little tabs on it, and the air box goes down in those, slides in there. So leave it loose until you put the air box in, and you just got to line the bolts back up. And then you just want to line up the air box plastic tabs into those little slots right there, and continue to push it down until you get it down onto its little rubber stopper. And then this one comes sliding back up. We grab our Torx and our 10mm nut that goes on the end right beside the power steering reservoir. Give it a little tug, tighten it up. Then you would have a third one right there on that one, but I don't. And the air filter goes back in. Make sure it seats all the way down. And then just a little note on these clips. Make sure they're pushed back when you set the box top back on. If not, you'll snag them and you'll have to take them back off. So remember, we have both C-clamps loose. We've got to remember to do those. There we go. And then all we got left is the hose. So all it does is real simple. It just snaps back on there. And you got your mass airflow sensor. And he's pretty simple. He just snaps back on there. And you got this dude boxed up. So there we go. So we just changed the coil pack and the spark plug while we were at it. So now let's go back in here, clear the codes, and then we'll fire this dude up and see if we got the cylinder 4 firing good. Function F4, and then the function F2 is the one that clears the codes. So when we hit that, it's going to clear codes. When we hit that, it says it's responding. So if you want to check and see if we cleared it, hit the function F1. Now it says no errors found. So it cleared everything out of memory for us. Let's go back to 10. Okay. And then we're going to go to the status, which is function F5. And then we're going to go to our misfire detection, which is function F4. And there we are, all green again because we're not running yet. So now when we hit the button, we're hoping cylinder 4 is going to take off and be happy just like the rest of the cylinders. So here we go. Oh, look at there. Back to life again, idling pretty. Revs up, sounds good. Open up my exhaust. Hear it running. So that appears to be our problem on why we have this crazy thing. As you can see, we don't have any more codes. We don't have anything going on over here. I can go to my info sources, service info, and control messages. It says all systems are. So we're back in good shape. What we got to do is just sit here for a minute and let it burn that fuel out where it was trying to fire cylinder 4. But as you can see, it's pretty happy bouncing along with everybody else. So I think we got her fixed. So hope this helps out somebody. If it does help you, give it a like. And thanks for watching.